Good news. Registration for the American lottery is now open. You could be one of the lucky ones to be granted permanent residence in the United States for free. For some of you, this will be the very first time you will be entering the lottery, while for most of you, it won't be the first time you will be trying. But as this lottery is entirely free, there's absolutely nothing to lose by trying your luck again and again each year until you're finally selected. Registration for the 2024 to 2025 DV Lottery opens on October 4, 2023, closes on November 7, 2023, and the results will be published on May 4, 2024. In this video, I'll show you how to register for the US lottery, for those applying for the first time, mistakes to avoid when registering online, as well as key tips for completing your form and increasing your chances of being selected. I'll also be showing you a photo cropping tool that will allow you to automatically adjust your photo to the requirements of the DV lottery. So stay with me until the end. Before going to the official DV lottery website, let's remind ourselves of certain requirements for those who don't yet know how to take part in the DV lottery. The DV lottery is open to people from countries with a relatively low rate of immigration to the United States. It is the simplest way of obtaining the famous green card, which will give you the right of permanent residence in the United States. To be eligible for this green card, you must meet the following conditions. Belong to one of the countries eligible for the DV lottery. If you want to know whether your country is eligible to take part in the DV lottery, please visit the link I leave in the description. You must also have at least a high school diploma. Depending on your country of residence, you may call it advanced level or baccalaureate. If you're in your final year of secondary school, and you're confident that before the official date of publication of the results you'll have your baccalaureate, then you're also eligible to apply. If you don't have a baccalaureate, you must have at least 2 years work experience in the last 5 years in a profession that requires at least 2 years training or experience. Given that most professions that require at least 2 years of training are professions that require a baccalaureate, very few professions meet this professional experience requirement. So I'd advise you to apply with a baccalaureate, because the work experience requirement is very difficult to meet. As was the case last year, a passport is not required. Having a valid, unexpired passport increases the security of the DV lottery process and helps protect your application, but this year you can do without it. Passports are not on the list of documents you need to have in order to take part. If you have one, great. But if you don't, you can continue with your application as normal. Now it's time to register. The link I'm going to leave in the description will redirect you to the official DV lottery website. All other sites that claim to do this are simply scammers. Please use an up-to-date browser when submitting your application. Other browsers, such as Internet Explorer 8, may experience problems with the online DV system. You must provide all the information requested on this form to complete your registration. The first thing to do is scroll down and click the green box. Start entering and you type in the authentication code, and here we are on the registration form. As we shall see, this registration form is relatively simple to fill in. You only need to fill in this form once. The Department of State uses sophisticated technology to detect multiple registrations, and people who submit the form more than once will be automatically disqualified. However, if you are a couple, you can submit your applications separately. This is a good way of increasing your chances of winning. If either of you is successful, you will all get the green card, including your children, if they are under 21 and not yet married. You may often receive error messages when trying to connect to this site. This is normal, as many people are also registering, and the site is overloaded. I advise you to try again later, when the site is less loaded. You have 30 minutes to complete this form. After this time, your form will be reset, and you will have to fill in the form again. But most of the time, this form is relatively simple to fill in and only takes about 15 minutes. All you have to do is fill in your details. First you give your family name, then your first name and your middle name if you have one. If you don't have one, simply tick the box below. It is important here to fill in this information exactly as it appears in your official documents, passport, national identity card, birth certificate. Second question, gender. Here you tick your sex, male or female. Then enter your date of birth, starting with the month. Enter the number that corresponds to your month of birth. For example, the number 4 corresponds to April, 2 to February, and so on. Then the day and finally the year. You will also need to enter the name of the town where you were born. Next, you select the country in which you were born from the list. You are then asked if your country is eligible to apply. You click yes. But if you have any doubts, you can always look at the list of eligible countries. We continue. On this question you will be asked to enter your photo. Photos must meet US visa standards. You will be disqualified from the outset if your photos do not meet these specifications. The photo is undoubtedly the most decisive factor in your application, because even if the DV algorithm makes no distinction as to skin color, origin, or religion, your application can be immediately rejected. Here are a few tips to help you get your photo right without the help of a professional. Face the camera with your head centered in the frame, not tilted. Have a neutral facial expression, or a natural leg smile. Remove your glasses and any other accessories that might hide part of your face. Ask someone else to take the photo. Above all, don't take a selfie and don't use any filters. The photo should be clear and sharp with no shadows. Use a uniform white background, and I advise you to avoid wearing white clothes to distinguish your clothes from the background of the photo. The photo must have been taken within the last 6 months and be 600 pixels by 600 pixels. You should also avoid using the same photo that you used in one of the previous versions. To this end, I'm providing a description of the site that will enable you to crop your photo to the requirements of DV. This link will redirect you to a page like this one. All you have to do is choose your photo from your camera by clicking here and look for your photo where you saved it. Once you've chosen it, the application will automatically crop it as you can see in this example. After resizing and cropping your photo according to the required criteria, you can save it by clicking here and use it for your registration. Once this is done, you will be asked to give your full address. Street name, house number, name of town, postal code and country code. If you don't have a postal code, like most Africans, you tick no postal code. The next question concerns your current country of residence. Select the name of the country where you currently live from this list. On the next point, you enter your telephone number and email address. The telephone number is optional, but the email address is compulsory. It is with this email address that you will be able to recover confirmation number and check your results in May 2024 if you forget your confirmation number. The next question concerns your level of education. On this list, tick the box that corresponds to the highest level of study you have achieved. You could, for example, tick Masters. The next question concerns your current marital status. Are you single, widowed, married, divorced or legally separated? Make sure you fill in your marital status at this point. If your marriage certificate is not yet official, then put single. They then ask how many children you have. Your own children, those of your spouse, and even adopted children. However, if you're expecting a child that isn't yet born, there's no need to include it. But if you are single and have no children, simply enter 0. Then click on Continue. Once you've clicked Continue, you'll see a summary of all the information you've entered. This is your opportunity to carry out a second check before submitting. If you find an error, you can click back to rectify it. Otherwise, click Submit to finalize the registration. For those who are married or who have children, they will need to continue filling in the form to provide information about their children or spouse. It's practically the same thing, so there's no need to start again. First and last name, address, country of residence, level of education, and so on. Once you have completed and submitted the form, you will receive a message telling you that your registration has been successful. You will be given a confirmation number, which you should keep carefully, as it is with this that you will be able to check your result. For those of you who don't already know, the US government does not notify participants by letter, email, fax, or telephone. The official website is the only legitimate source of lottery results. If you encounter any difficulties during the registration process, please do not hesitate to leave a comment. So that's the end of the video. All that's left for me to do is wish you good luck, and I'll see you soon.